Hi everyone and welcome to episode 138 of The Talk is Cheap show. We are here live in the AFTV studios and I'm very pleased and honoured to say we've got a great show lined up for you today. But before I do that, happy Black History Month to everybody watching. That's everybody watching, yeah? Right, okay, for our introductions. To my right, you've seen him many times before on this show, Mr. Curtis Shaw from Curtis Shaw TV in the house. What are you saying, bro?
What's happening, bro?
What are you up to?
We're top of the league, man. I'm chilling.
You know
what I mean? I'm good right now.
He looks in a good way, man.
Yeah,
He got
man.
himself done up.
That top of the
hair
league
got
glow,
done?
man. Yeah, you know, when I was 8th in the league, the beard just grows. You feel rough. When you're top, you got, you know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah, man, he's looking up for it. I can see it. I know you're looking up for it, man. Right, to my left, very good friend of mine, esteemed podcaster, great guy, articulate, knows his stuff, and I'm very savvy, which he needs to be today. And I'm very glad he's alongside me. From Coppish TV, Drifty in the house. What are you saying, bro?
What's going on, man?
Give Drifty a big digital round of applause. Because he's going to need it.
Yeah, man, I'm not comfortable in the ops territory today, I tell you.
Yeah, man, he's in the ops seat.
Here, man.
But, you know, if anyone can handle it, Drifty can, trust me. So I'm looking forward very much to hear what he's got to say today. I'm sure we're going to have a great show. Just quickly, I just wanted to touch on it. I think it's important that we mention it. The tragedy that happened out in Indonesia. I'm sure you guys would have heard about it by now. Stampede in the ground in Indonesia between two of the top teams out there. 125 people killed, including 30-odd children. Very, very sad, but we had to mention it. One of the world's worst ever stadium disasters, apparently. Yeah. Basically happened after police tear gassed the crowd, which I'm reliably informed they're not really supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's against FIFA laws to tear gas crowds in stadiums. So, very quickly, Curtis, your thoughts on that?
It's terrible news. I didn't even know like the full details of it, to be honest. But yeah, it shouldn't be happening anywhere, especially at a football match.
And Drifty?
Yeah.
I'm sure you want to give your condolences as well.
Yeah, man, 100%, man. Yeah. Like, even if one life goes, but over 100?
Oh, man, it's terrible,
yeah, the police, I think they're kind of the same everywhere. They just think they can do what they want now, innit?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter what country you go in, the police think they can do what they want.
Although we do have to say, apparently the stadium was full, over capacity, because it's a 38,000 fan stadium, and apparently there was over 40-odd thousand people in the stadium, so that didn't help. But so I just want to say our condolences on behalf, not just of us three here, but everyone, AFTV, shout out to the people in that part of the world, because I do know that AFTV have fans out there, so we're very sorry to hear about your losses.
Definitely.
Okay, right, okay, moving on again then. We're going to do this very quickly because we've got, enough things to talk about, but it's only right and proper that we review Arsenal's last game, and as you all know by now, the last game was the North London derby, a game that myself and Curtis gave the tag to as the biggest derby in British football. Be interested to hear what Drifty has to say that when I ask him later. But yeah, it was a good day for Arsenal. 3-1 winners, worthy 3-1 winners, I would say. Before I ask Curtis his thoughts on the game, his brief thoughts, I'll just go through some of the stats, some of the receipts. So 3-1 to Arsenal, goals by Partey on 20 minutes. Kane got a penalty on 31, the obligatory Harry Kane penalty and goal. Gabriel Jesus, 49 minutes. Granit Xhaka, 67 minutes. Shots on goal, Arsenal 22, Tottenham 7. Shots on target, Arsenal 9 to Tottenham 3. Possession, Arsenal 65% to Tottenham's 35%. Completed passes, 565 to 307. Pass accuracy, Arsenal 90% to Tottenham 78%. So you can see there that Arsenal were superior in pretty much everything, all of those statistics, including the scoreline. I think the only statistic that they didn't lose out on was the sending off. So, right, okay, so very quickly, Curtis, your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, man, light work.
Light work?
Lunchtime, innit? Cooked that Nando's, man. That chicken got cooked. Emerson Royale sent off as well, Chicken Royale.
Really,
that was
man.
the end of it. But no, listen, in all seriousness, I think it was a huge result for us. Even though we were confident going into the game, we knew that Tottenham were dangerous. Unbeaten in the league this season, only a point behind us. They had a strong front three out as well, and I felt we dealt with them well. The penalty was a silly penalty to give away. Apart from the penalty, the one save Ramsdale had to make from Richarlison, I don't really remember him laying a glove on us the rest of the game, really. And I think Conte was very negative with his style. I think it's all right when you're winning games, but when you're losing, you know, their fan base must be frustrated with that. And I thought we were the better team. I mean, Thomas Partey putting that shot in the top corner, I nearly smashed the laptop. I couldn't believe it. You know, and then Granit Xhaka scoring. Jesus does the Thierry Henry celebration with Henry in the. It couldn't have gone much better, to be honest.
With that Partey goal, did you not think like me that was a long time in coming?
Well,
because
yeah.
last season and the season before when he was shooting like that, you notice he'd started at Rosette and he's been working his way down.
Got progressively lower, you know.
And I knew that one day he was going to get it, but to do it in the North London derby.
What a goal. What a performance by him as well.
He was tremendous,
immense
man.
in that game. Jesus, unbelievable. Saliba, Xhaka. Granit Xhaka's just won Player of the Month. I never thought I'd see the day. I'm in shock.
Yeah, he did.
I can't believe it, but he deserves it. Fair play to him. I haven't been a big fan of him, but
to say the least.
But I'm all about redemption, man. Bob Marley redemption song business. So yeah, big him up, man.
See, you would say he's gone from, in your thoughts, liability to like first name on the team sheet.
Oh no, I wouldn't go that far. Not first name on the team sheet, you know, Saliba, Jesus, but he's in the mix.
But he's up there.
You know, keep doing your thing, we'll support you, man. But listen, we deserve the victory.
And I've got to ask you, because it was a talking point after the game, the sending off. Do you think, because I must admit, when I saw it, straight up off the bat when we was doing the watch along, I thought it might have been a bit harsh. That was in real time. Saw the replay, but then like a lot of things, you see the replay, it slowed down, you think, that did look a bit worse than I thought. But I still thought on balance it was a bit harsh. So A, do you think it was a bit harsh? And B, do you think it was a pivotal moment in the game?
I think once that red card happened, I felt like game's over.
So for you it was red, was it?
Listen, I think in the modern game, when they're looking,
he's added that caveat.
No, because we know now.
Once people say that, you know, in the modern game,
because you know, innit?
That's normally
slow motion. When they look at it in slow motion, it looks 10 times worse. We know.
All right, let me ask you another question here. Do you think when you saw it in real time, was you jumping off your seat?
No, I wasn't.
Thinking,
I'll be honest. When I first saw it, I thought, I didn't realise that he'd studded him at the start. I thought he just tripped him over. Once I saw the replay of it, I'm thinking the ball's not there. He's running towards his own goal. It's like you've intentionally taken him out. So listen, I might be a little bit biased. For me, that is a clumsy challenge. He's nowhere near the ball. He's put studs over his ankle. Could have broke his ankle.
Do you think that Martinelli sprinkled some little sugar on top with the rolls and the screams?
Martinelli had him on toast, mate.
No, what I'm saying is, do you think Martinelli egged the pudding by
roll over, man.
Roll over, add a couple of screams?
Do what's necessary. Roll, scream, get him off the pitch, mate. You know, Chicken Royale got dealt with, mate. I don't know why he played, to be honest. He shouldn't be playing for them.
Because a lot of Spurs fans were saying that they thought it was a bit harsh. I thought it was a little bit harsh, but you know what? At the end of the day, 3-1 did not flatter Arsenal, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. Drifty, shifting to you, you would have seen the game, because, no doubt. So what was your thoughts on it? Be brief, because we've got a lot to talk about.
Good game, entertaining. It's the one I like to watch, out of all the derbies that don't involve Liverpool.
That don't involve Liverpool.
I love the North London derby. It's always fire. I thought the red card was a little bit harsh, but the reason I got no sympathy for him is because it wasn't a challenge. Like Curtis said, it wasn't like he was a bit late, and then you can go, ref, man, come on, man, you know the nature of the game. The ball was so far over. What are you doing, bro? What are you doing? Do you know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Like, you deserve it.
I think he was trying to commit what they like to call a professional foul, meaning that he saw that Martinelli was getting away from him. He thought
he was frustrated
take one
because Martinelli had him on toast. He was frustrated. You know what I mean? So.
Right result for you?
Result was, I mean, you see the passing accuracy of 78% for Tottenham. The 22 that wasn't accurate was all Son. Did you see how bad his passing was? Oh my days.
Wow.
And we're talking about a world-class baller. Like, I love Son. Like, I'll take him at Liverpool like that. But his passing on the day was absolutely shocking. Even the penalty they won came from Richarlison being out wide from a terrible pass from Son when he just had to like slip him. I don't think Son completed one pass all game. Like I don't know what's going on with him, but
you know what? Credit to you, because I didn't notice that.
A couple of times, like you said, that through ball to Richarlison, he overhits it, then they end up getting the penalty out of it. But
so we're all in agreement that Arsenal well won it and deserved 3.
Yeah.
I've got to ask you, given that you're here, because we had this topic on our show last week. and you being a Liverpool fan, I'm sure you'll have your thoughts on this. But for me, and Curtis, and quite a few other people agreed with us, the North London derby is currently the biggest derby in British football. Yes or no?
I still think it's Man U Liverpool.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's not strictly a derby, though.
People will say, what's it like, the North?
It's a rivalry.
Northwest derby, whatever it is, I don't know. But I, for me personally, I think that's the biggest.
Well, even now.
Yeah, because the hatred between Liverpool and Man U is never going to go away, ever.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you're talking about the type of derby where you're from the same town,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I'm just thinking as well, because previously with Man United and Liverpool, it's been a little bit lopsided, isn't it? Because they've not really been on your level, but yeah.
But I mean, for the majority of the time, you lot were always a bit lopsided. I mean, even when they were up, you lot were down. All them years you were up, they were down. So like, this is only recent times when you guys have kind of been similar. Do you know what I mean? But I still, like I said, I love it. It's fiery. It's the one I like to watch, you know what I mean? And I don't really care who wins either way. So like, I just get to enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? Like the Manchester derby, I hate Man United, but recently I've had to hope they get something out of the game, do you know what I mean? Which makes me feel dirty and ill, but you know what I mean? Like, because Man City obviously have to drop points whenever possible, so I can just enjoy the North London derby.
For sure. Thanks, Drifty. Right, so looking at the comments, it would appear that the people in the comments agree with you guys that it was a straight red card. So, yeah, pretty much everyone said that, yeah. Okay, moving on then to one of our regular features on the show. It's called Ops of the Week, and Ops of the Week comes in two parts this week. We've got two massive games. Well, one massive game and another, decent game. Yeah. First up, Arsenal versus Bodo Glimt in the Europa League this Thursday. Curtis, I'm going to start with you. Bodo Glimt, I did a little bit of research on them because I think it's fair to say that it's not a name that immediately stands out, no disrespect to them. But they're a Norwegian side, second in the Norwegian league, although they are well behind Molde, who we've heard about. Right, so their season is well underway. They're pretty much well away through the season. They played 24, won 13, drawn 6, lost 5. They won at the weekend, their last league game against Lillestrøm. They're currently top of the Europa League. They played 2 games, one more than Arsenal. They beat FC Zurich, who we beat. They beat them 2-1, and then they drew with Eindhoven. So they're no pushovers. They're currently top of the group after 2 games. They're coming to the Emirates this Thursday. Curtis, you got any thoughts on that game?
I mean, on paper it looks like a game that we should win, but we've got to be respectful of them at the same time. We remember Ostersunds and games like that where we've come unstuck before. They have got a decent record in Europe. I think they beat Roma last year.
Yeah, they did.
So we've got to be careful. Listen, our fringe players will play this game. I'd expect Marquinhos, Eddie Nketiah, Holding, Cedric if he's fit, Tomiyasu. Those kind of players will come in. So we should still have a good enough team on the pitch to be beating them. I'm sure we'll keep 1 or 2 in reserve if necessary. But I think with the Europa League group, you want to kind of get it wrapped up quickly and be able to rest people later on in the group. So I think it's important we win this game and get this group tied up as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
So, I would expect us to win it though. I know they got a good result against PSV, but I still think we'll be too strong at home.
Yeah, I would co-sign that without wishing in any way to be condescending and to disrespect Bodo Glimt. Got to ask Drifty, have you heard of Bodo Glimt?
He's living the high life, man. Champions League finals and that.
Only what you lot told me prior. I mean, they got a good result against PSV, as you lot were saying. I mean, PSV are no mugs. You know what I mean? What was they? Semi-finalists last year in the Europa, I think PSV were. Rangers beat them to get to the final, did they not? Right, I think. Or quarterfinals, so they definitely, are doing okay in Europe. So, as Curtis said, man, you got to win it. You got to get 3. I think if you win 3 games in a row, get 9 points on the board, you're through. And then you can just like literally relax on that. Maybe try and win 1 more to top the group. You know what I mean? But you can start playing like the players that need game time and all that kind of stuff. And then you'll be fine, man. There's no way you're not getting out of that group or topping that group. So
well, let's hope you're right on that. It would be remiss of me not to ask you about your own European ventures, because you got a European game very quickly. Rangers. What are you saying?
I'm trying to put good vibes in the atmosphere, so I'm going to say we'll win today. But if you want to win, if you want points, if you want to play well, if you want to regather your form, play Liverpool right now, isn't it? So who knows? Who knows? I mean, if we don't beat Rangers, we are in trouble in this group, though, because that will actually mean that Rangers are on the same points as us, and we've got 2 very difficult games away at Ajax and Napoli coming to our ground. So you know what I mean? They're no pushovers. But we got to beat Rangers. We have to beat them.
I hope Liverpool win, you know, because I don't want a team like Liverpool coming in the Europa League and spoiling our party. You know what I mean? I don't want teams like that dropping down. So I hope Liverpool get through, man.
That's a decent point. You know? See, that's it. You see, he's thinking strategically, long term. He's not just thinking with his heart. He's thinking with his head.
Maybe it's a plan. The only trophy that Klopp hasn't won is the Europa League. Maybe he's thinking, let me just style it, go down there, win it, and then. No, we got to go through this group, man.
I think you'll get through. I think you'll be all right.
Okay then, so that's the first ops of the week. Many people might say that's the hors d'oeuvre for the main course. So this weekend, Arsenal take on Liverpool. It's another home game, another massive game, another game that Arsenal need to win. Let me just set the backdrop for this game. So currently, Arsenal, top of the Premier League, 7 games, 18.6 wins, just the 1 loss against Man United. Meanwhile, Liverpool, they're not doing so well. That's an understatement. Currently 9th in the Premier League, 7 games, 10 points, 2 wins, only 2 wins, 4 draws though, just the 1 loss to Man United. But in the corresponding results last year, I think it's fair to say that Liverpool got the best of us handily. So we'll be looking to put that right this year. Right, so now I'm going to start with Curtis, given that Arsenal are the home team. So no disrespect. I'm going to start with our home team.
Yeah.
Curtis is here. So in recent years, Liverpool have been a bit of a boogie side for us, let's be honest. But I'm kind of sensing the vibe and the mood that this year could be just right for us. And we all know about the Jurgen Klopp 7-year itch. Can Arsenal scratch that itch, man? Can we beat them? Can we do it?
I mean, listen, Robbie sent me a stat that we've only won 1 of our last 14 Premier League games against Liverpool. We haven't scored in our last 6 games against them. So they're definitely a bogey team for us right now. But listen, if you're ever going to beat this Liverpool team, the time has got to be now for me. They're out of form. They're not a write-off. I think this is a dangerous game. I'm more fearful of this game than I was of the Tottenham game because of the style. You know, we knew that Tottenham...
For real? Yeah,
Tottenham...
You're more worried about Liverpool?
Yeah, 100%. We knew that Tottenham were going to come, sit back, give us possession. Arteta is similar to Pep in the sense that he wants to keep possession. So they're feeding what he wants. Where Liverpool are going to come to the Emirates, they're going to try and get on the ball, they're going to attack us, they're going to press from the front. They're going to make life difficult for us. So I think as well, the fact they've got that psychological advantage that, listen, when you're playing against a team that you know that you've beaten a number of times, I think it gives you that little bit of confidence. You know, Firmino's got a great record against Arsenal. But listen, we're top of the league. We've only lost 1 game. We're scoring goals. Seen Liverpool, they look a little bit disjointed at the moment. If I'm Martinelli, I'm looking at Trent and thinking, I want to add to the frustration what's going on there. You know, listen, I think Trent's a top player. And I think he's being given a bit of a hard time by the media. But ultimately, you know, we need to add to the problems that they've got. Even Van Dijk is making mistakes at the moment.
He seems human at last.
Yeah, he's been like the best centre-back in the world for years. Even like Welbeck's giving him problems. So I'm looking at this game. I said last week, I think we need a minimum 4 points from Tottenham and Liverpool. Now that we've beaten Tottenham and Liverpool drew at the weekend, I'm going there for 3 points. I think we need to beat them. It's going to be a tough game. It's a dangerous game. But if we turn up and play how we have played and how we played against Tottenham, I think we can beat them this weekend.
I must say you're looking confident, but you're not being overconfident.
No, not overconfident.
You've stressed the fact that, you know, we do need to be watchful of the fact that Liverpool in recent years have, let's face it, bested us comprehensively. Right, okay. Going to speak to you more about that. Moving on to Drifty, but before I ask you about the game itself, tell us a little bit about this the 7-year itch to Klopp, because it's been spoken about a lot. I listened to a show on national radio last week and they were talking about it. I think it's in every club he's been at in his 7th season there, it's all gone wrong for him. Are you getting that vibe at Liverpool now? What's the vibe like in the camp?
I think there's 2 caveats to that. I think the first one is including us, every club he's been at, he's never been backed fully.
Right.
And I think it's a very easy conclusion to come to. Do you know what I mean? Because by the logic that people are using, he should have never got to 3 Champions League finals because he's only done it once in the past. He should have won the league twice with Liverpool because he won it twice with Dortmund. You know, like, It's so easy to always just go, well, he did it there, so is this what's happening? But that's why I've got such a problem with our owners, because we're not Dortmund and we're not Mainz. We can back him and we don't. And that's the thing that frustrates me. And the only thing I will say is he's never had to do this before. He's never had to get rid of players he loves, and he's never had to replace them because he's never been at a club long enough that has the funds to do it. He is learning this. It is new for him. Even though he's an experienced manager, in my opinion, he's the second, arguably third best manager in the world. I think Ancelotti possibly and Pep are the only people that I would put above him.
He's definitely a top manager.
Do you know what I mean? So this is the only thing left for him to learn in his career. How do I get over my love for a player, realise he's over the hill, so to speak, and either put him on the bench or replace him properly? Do you know what I mean? He's learning that, and I have every faith he will. He's a world-class manager. He will get used to it. But we're going to have to just ride this storm while he's doing it and hope FSG either get out or back him. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of people, this is what I love about the fact that we were letting everybody know about this the whole time, so people don't think we're just throwing our toys out the pram. FSG haven't backed Klopp since we won the Champions League. We won the Champions League and bought Sepp van der Berg and Elliot as a 17-year-old or 16-year-old. Is that backing the manager? That's not backing the manager. Yeah, we won the league, we made no signings. It's just because he's such a diamond, you know what I mean, turn coal into diamonds kind of manager. So we've always known we should do this. We haven't had backup for Salah since we bought Salah.
Right.
Like, do you know what I mean? This is gonna happen. They're running to the ground, they're tired, do you know what I mean? And they need to be backed. Yes, he does need to change tactics, but I think he'll learn. This season for me is a
basically
write-off,
what you're saying. Oh, it's a write-off.
Yeah.
Really?
We won't win nothing this season.
Oh, did you hear that?
It's a transitional season.
Mate, I'm telling you, you think you've had problems. We've had some real problems the last couple of years. You saw that all or nothing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I hear that.
Some people might say the common denominator is in the American owners, but hey, I didn't say that. I'm just saying some people might say that.
They think about profit a lot more than winning. And I don't even think it's ignorant to say that. I think even Bowley at Chelsea, let's see what happens in a couple of years. Yeah, he's throwing his weight around now, but who knows like what's going to happen in a couple of years when he starts looking at the profit books and going, oh, hang on a minute. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't really get Sheikh Mansour and Thingy, they're a different breed, just spending and, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man, but
I always think with owners sometimes they do what they feel they have to do, and I think Klopp has put them in a position where they haven't had to back him that much. You know, he sold Coutinho, you got Alisson, Van Dijk, won the league. You haven't spent that much money. Even Nunes this year, you know, that money probably came, most of it, from Mane and Minamino.
Oh, we made profit almost.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're almost
made profit.
So they're looking at it saying, this guy is not making us have to spend money, and you was challenging for the quadruple last year. So I just think, I don't think it's a major panic yet at Liverpool. I think there is a blip. I don't think you'll win the league this year.
But in answer to my question, so basically what you're saying, Drifty, with this 7-year itch thing that people are commenting on, it's less about Klopp and more about the owners, yeah?
Yeah, and he will learn how to get rid of players that he loves.
So
he will
eventually.
No, because he'll eventually learn. He'll eventually, you know, like all.
Okay. So moving on to this game then, pressing you about the game now. Your initial thoughts. We're going to talk about lineups and predictions and that later. But your initial thoughts about the game this weekend. How confident or not so confident are you about this game?
I mean, I've been to this studio dozens of times, and it's the first time on the journey I thought, You've
had some confidence.
You know what I mean? Like,
you know?
Why am I on ops territory this time round? I don't know, man. But look, as Curtis said, football's a funny old game, innit? Like, I get why there's apprehension, because we have, I mean, I didn't even know it was that much. I knew you don't really beat us. I didn't know it was 1 in 14. And if I'm being honest again, and I'm not saying this to take liberties, we were partying out of lockdown knowing we'd won the league in that game. So I'm not trying to take away credit, but at the same time, like, we were, you know what I mean? Like, we were partying and, you know what I mean? And it was 2 mistakes, I believe, as well from our goalkeeper in that game. But look, what goes around comes around, innit? We weren't going to keep beating you forever. Do you know what I mean? So I think this will be the time when you do get the win. I'm not confident going in.
And we also have to take into account you did beat us in the League Cup last year as well. Yeah. So you got the better of us in that.
Yeah, the Jota show.
Okay.
See, Jota's got to play, innit? He loves you, look.
He does love it.
And to be fair, Salah, Bobby, most of our players love
they've all loved us.
I'll
tell you one thing, if I can give one bit of advice for Mikel, don't play You'll Never Walk Alone, right? Don't get the speakers out on the training ground this week. No light bulbs.
It means a lot to him, innit? Because I forgot that he's got Liverpool PTSD.
Yeah, and he was an Everton player, wasn't he? So he's always had a.
And also, he owes Klopp one, didn't he? I mean, they nearly squared up to each other last. Well, not nearly, they did.
I think that spearheaded them to beat us, though. Really, didn't it? In that game?
Yeah. Chelsea, Lampard tried to do that as well. Probably wind him up a little bit, so
be a bit more calm this time, maybe.
Okay then, so we've got their initial thoughts. Let's move on to some of the specifics. I'm going to start with Curtis again. Like we said, Arsenal, the home teams. We're going to start with you. Arsenal's lineup for this weekend.
Same 11.
Same 11, yeah? No changes?
No changes. You know what, when we was playing Tottenham, I got to be honest, I was thinking, do you bring Tomiyasu back for Ben White? Even though Ben White had been brilliant, I was worried about Son against Ben White. But again, Ben White had another brilliant game at right back. And Zinchenko for Tierney, I even thought was a bit of a gamble, because I thought Tierney maybe is better defensively. I thought Arteta, I think, showed his hand a little bit there, that maybe he sees Zinchenko as the first choice left back, because some people have said defensively he's not as good as Tierney. This will be a test for Zinchenko again, you know, Salah against Zinchenko, and Diaz against Ben White. But to be honest, I think they played that well. I'd pick the same team. I think, you know, Gabriel had a little moment, but I would stick by him. I still think him and Saliba's a good partnership. I'd pick the same 11. Exactly.
So you've seen that same 11. Your guy's 11. Who are you going with this week?
Alisson obviously speaks for himself. In my opinion, the best signing we've ever made under Klopp.
Wow.
Over Virgil, yeah?
Better than Salah?
Yeah.
Better than Mane?
Yeah. I obviously, I adore all of those players, but I just remember them Mignolet carries days. And I'm just like, you can't win nothing without a good goalkeeper. Honestly, you can't. And Alisson is so good that last season, the tactic was get out of the way and let him save without anybody in the way. And look, we nearly won a quadruple. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's how good he is. I don't think our opposition actually know just how good he is, but we appreciate him. So, Ali in goal. Virgil, you know what's funny about Virgil, guys? He's actually just in cruise control for the World Cup. I'm convinced.
Really? Wow.
He missed the Euros with that really horrible injury, and I totally understand that nothing means more to him than representing Holland. He doesn't want to get injured. He wants to make sure he's at the World Cup. Holland probably have a good chance at doing something in the World Cup.
He's been captaining them recently.
Yeah, and if you see how well he played in the international break for them, I genuinely believe that he's saving himself for Holland this season, and he's saving himself for the World Cup. You're not as good as him, and then all of a sudden just do what he's doing now. He doesn't want to get injured. He doesn't want to be tired. He doesn't want to stress himself. And I'm angry at it, because it's almost like he's contributing to throwing away a season for Liverpool by him playing like this. But I do believe that he's saving himself, and I think there's a few players in that squad that are doing it actually, and that's why Salah's the one I think who's like running harder and trying harder, because he doesn't have a World Cup to think about. Whereas Fabinho and a few others, Trent with the whole he knows he's not going to go. All these players, I think it's all like a mental thing with a lot of them. The World Cup, which is why it was so dumb. It's in the middle of the tournament.
Will you, with your big money signing play?
Boy.
Surely he'll be on the bench, won't he? Bobby's playing really well.
Yeah, I was going to say, Bobby's got 5 goals and 3 assists. He's one of the most informed players in the league, statistically.
And he always does well against Arsenal.
And he loves Arsenal. So it would be a bit liberty to drop him. But I'd go Jota down the middle. I would, because I think Jota's got what we need to do you lot something. I think Bobby makes the game easy for you lot. Do you know what I mean? Even though he does love playing against you lot, I think it makes the game easy for you lot. You've got quick, strong centre-backs now that are kind of like built to be up for a battle. If he drops off and lets them just have, you know, the penalty box on himself, that's an easy game for them. Do you know what I mean? So I'd play Jota, who's going to make them runs, get in behind, have the movement that's going to test them. And in midfield, I'd go Henderson in the number 6. Flacco needs to just hold bench. Like, he's getting on my nerves. He's deliberately not running. A lot of people keep pointing at Trent with like saying he's lazy and all this stuff. Fabinho's doing the same thing, but in the worst area of the field, in the middle. I think he's either saving himself for the World Cup, or he don't like the tactics anymore, and he's just not trying anymore. He's not pressing. That I don't think anybody can argue. For the past couple of years, he was arguably the best DM in world football, and now all of a sudden he don't care anymore, or it's not running, not trying, not pressing.
Or could it just be that the message is a bit tired now, which is what I said earlier about the 7-year itch? Like.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of people will call it excuses, yeah. But that's just because they want to banter in it. We're having real football talk. I know you lot will understand what I'm saying. You play 63 games in one season, yeah. Have half of your squad play more than 4,000 minutes in that 63 games, and you don't win at the end for the joy of the journey. What human being wouldn't be like, oh, fuck's sake, do you know what I mean? Like, we got to go again. And we really got to do this all over again. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think winning one of those big cups or both of them would have been that rejuvenation. Like, it's worth it. Look, we got something out of it. Only winning the domestic cups, I think it's kind of made them feel a bit like, oh, we got to do all this again. And they're just naturally down a bit. And could it be inside turmoil? I don't know. If you go and watch the Community Shield game against Man City, I know they weren't ready quite yet because they hadn't played many games, but we were brilliant in that game and we completely played them off the park. A week later, we played Fulham and we looked like the worst team I've ever seen. So I don't know. I'm confused. Honestly, I really don't know what's going on.
Could be just confidence. Okay, thanks for that. Before I move over to Curtis to ask him another question, big up Premsy is in the comments. He said, big up Premsy. Right, okay, Curtis again then. So we spoke about the team, formation and tactics.
I mean, the formation will be the same, 4-2-3-1. I think for me, you've got to hurt Liverpool down the sides because I think Trent, we know he bombs on, he'll support Salah. I'm not sure, is Robertson fit? Did Tsimikas play at left back at the weekend?
Tsimikas, yeah.
Tsimikas.
But, so it could be Milner.
Could even be Milner. I mean, whoever's in that wide area for them, I think you've got to, because they'll bomb on and support their winger. I think Saka down one side. If I'm Martinelli, I'm thinking, I would tell Martinelli, every time you get the ball, run at Trent, run at him. Even if he tackles you 5-6 times, keep going at him. I remember last season, he went past him a few times. Didn't really hurt him that much because Van Dijk was on the cover a lot of the time and Henderson was helping him. I think you've got to go at him. I think Jesus, he's got to make life difficult for their centre-backs. He's been brilliant, pressing from the front. If we can get Odegaard on the ball. Listen, we've got the tools to damage them when you see what has happened to them in the last few weeks. But I think people have to understand that they've drawn 4 games. And if they win a few of them games, we're not talking about any crisis. It's sometimes one goal. They should have beat Brighton at the weekend, 3-2 up. So it's still a game that we've got to be cautious about. You can't go out there just gun-ho because people like Salah and that will punish you if you give them chances. But I do think, I don't know why, I've just got this feeling that this is the time to beat them. The fact it's a home game, they've got a Champions League game against Rangers that even if they win that, it's going to take a lot out of them physically. We've got a fairly, a game on Thursday that we won't play our full strength team. I think Partey and players like that will get a rest. So I think everything points towards us beating them, but we're still going to have to turn up. If we don't turn up, we will get found out, which happened against United. So
okay, moving on to Drifty, but before I do that, we've got a super chat. Anthony 1993 says, how many injuries will Liverpool get from Rangers? That's going to be quite an intense game.
I hope none.
Battle of Britain,
I hope none. Man, Rangers, Stevie G must be watching intently for this one.
Yeah, I'm
Who's
sure
he going to want to win?
Boy, it better be us,
No, of course it'll be you.
Okay then, so I asked Curtis a question about formation and tactics, crucial area of the game. How do you think Klopp will approach this one?
I think it's the most easiest thing to predict formation-wise, 4-3-3. We've been doing it for years.
No tinkering, given that form's not been good this season.
We want him to. We want him to go. I actually want him to go 3 at the back. And I actually don't like 3 at the back because I think it literally says to the opposition, we know we're crap at defending. I do believe genuinely that 3 at the back says we can't defend, so we'll get more numbers in there. Even a manager like Conte that does it well, I still think it's just that kind of thing. But we need to do it now because we need to stop leaking goals. We need to stop conceding first. Absolute guarantee. If you want money this weekend and you're a betting man, bet Arsenal will be the first team to score in this game. We have only scored first once in the last 11 games.
Wow. That's interesting.
And that was Bournemouth that we beat by 0. The only reason they didn't score first because they didn't score at all. So yeah, the approach will be as we always are. Even like the thing is, Curtis, we don't even press anymore, bro.
No.
I know you're saying that, we don't press anymore. Like
they're tired, yeah. Can't keep
tired, can't be bothered, sick of the tactics. I don't know. I'm losing sleep trying to figure it out.
Because one thing I would say on that, and again, people talking about the 7-year itch and stuff like that, is that, and I've noticed Liverpool wouldn't be the first team this happened to. When you get a team that play with such high intensity and that's such physicality, if you've got the same players, which you said, you alluded to earlier in the show, that haven't really strengthened, don't matter how good of an athlete you are, at some point you're going to tail off. The numbers are not going to be as high. And I think we're seeing that at Liverpool. When I see the stats for them, the amount of ground covered and runs made and stuff is nowhere near what it was a few years ago. So could it be just that the players are just physically tired?
Yeah. Fatigue 100% is playing a part in this. Like, we outran every team we played last season, and this season only Bournemouth we outran. We've actually been out. So it's literally flipped on its head, which proves we're not running anymore. And you know, certain players, they don't have it in them. I think the younger players are probably mentally. I think like with Trent, for example, I think it's mental. I do think it is. I think he might have also put on a bit too much weight. I know people think I'm reaching, but he's really, really muscular now compared to before, and he seems a bit flat-footed. And a lot of people underestimate, like, you shouldn't really bulk up in football. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying you can't be good at football if you're muscular, but like, you gotta, you know what I mean, for what
you gotta get the balance right.
For what his skinny frame was used to, maybe he's put on a bit too much weight. I don't know. A bit too much muscle mass there. I don't know, but when you're playing the way you are, the way we are, you got to just look for reasons why.
Also got to take into effect he's still a growing lad, isn't he?
Yeah. And he's 23, and he's been doing this since he was 18. It's phenomenal what he's been doing, and a lot of people have really taken that for granted. People don't even act like he's young. People don't even act like he's a very similar age to a lot of players in the league, like Foden and that people go, oh, this young talent. Hold on, Trent's in that age bracket. He's just been doing it for so long, people have forgotten. Do you know what I mean? Because he's wise beyond his years, and he has been for so long. So just give the kid a break, man. I know he's not playing well, but just give him a break, man. You know what I mean?
And talking of that running and young and all the rest of it, that's one area, Curtis, I'm sure you would agree with me. Arsenal, a very young team, one of the youngest teams in the Premier League, and that kind of shows in the stats they're posting in terms of their running and getting around the pitch and stuff like that. But I've got a super chat here, and I'm going to ask Drifty what he makes of it. Super chat here from Young Gunner, and he says, haven't watched a lot of Liverpool games, but what do Liverpool fans make of Núñez? To me, he seems that he needs more time to settle in. So I'm going to put that question direct to you. Yeah,
again, I'm actually quite disappointed in a large part of our fan base that's already on his back and giving him thinking, writing him off and saying they don't think he's good enough. Again, he's 22 when we bought him. I think he's had his birthday while he's been at Liverpool, so he's same age as Trent as well. People say it's excuses. No, it's not excuses. It's just, I'm just giving reasons, and only people who don't want to, you know, give people the benefit of the doubt. He's young, he's new to the league, never played in Premier League before, he doesn't know the language. Liverpool shirt weighs heavy, and I know it was his fault he got sent off, but he's only played 170 minutes in the Premier League since he got here. He's got a goal and an assist. Like, I mean, people expect way too much too soon these days, and because he cost 64 million, people are like, no, he's got to bang straight away. He's not Lukaku, who's been here and done it and is mature and played in it. Then you can have a little bit less sympathy for him, do you know what I mean? When he came to Chelsea, an example. Núñez, give him time. He is a goal machine. Yeah, his touch and all that isn't the greatest, but he's a goal machine. Are we supplying chances for strikers? No, we're not even playing well. So he's come to Liverpool at the worst time that we've been. He's young, he's got all those issues, as I said, settling in. Look,
you got the sending off, didn't you? You're not playing well.
Yeah, and he'll learn from all that stuff. Do you know? Have you seen how well he plays for Uruguay? If anyone watched him at Benfica last season, they'll know he's a goal getter. He'll be fine, man. People just ain't got no patience. We live in way too much of an impatient world now, you know, where a song is old tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, you release an artist releases a song tomorrow, today, tomorrow it's old. Everyone's just so impatient. On to the next. Give him time, man.
You know what? I would happen to agree with that. Yeah, I would say you're right. I'm sure he's going to come good. Just hope it's not this weekend. Right, Curtis, I've got a question for you. Liverpool, we know what they're capable of producing. They haven't really produced it so far this season yet. But if you look at their team, and they've got a number of quality players, guys who could potentially do very well on the day for them, which player or players for you stand out as real threats to Arsenal, ones we got to watch?
I mean, they've got a number of them. It depends who they pick. You still got to go for Salah.
So he's a danger man.
Still a world-class winger. I know he hasn't started the season on fire, but if you give him chances and space, and I'm sure as much as Zinchenko's played well, he'll be looking at Zinchenko and thinking, I can go to work. He's not a natural fullback. Like I said, Firmino has got a great record against Arsenal. I think because he drops in them little pockets of space, he can be hard to mark sometimes. So the defenders might leave him. The midfielder don't pick him up. He gets between the lines. I mean, Trent, even though he's not on great form, you know, his delivery is as good as anyone in the league. So Diaz, listen, Liverpool aren't short of options. You know, even Jota on the bench, if he doesn't start, he's got a great goal record against us. So they've got a number of danger men. It's about, you know, putting them on the back foot, I think, because they're still scoring goals this season. You know, people are still scoring for them, but I think they're conceding more than they have done in the past. So, yeah, they've still got a lot of threats going forward. And,
okay.
Yeah.
Same question or similar question to Drifty. Looking at the Arsenal team, are there any people that immediately stand out for you and say, look, we got to watch him. He's got to be. We got to try and take care of him if we're going to get anything out of this game.
Not watch him as in because he's not a threat to us, but because of how well he's playing and how hard it is to get past him. Saliba is obviously one of your players that I definitely expect to have a good game. I think people are getting a bit too carried away in terms of like how good they're saying he is, but he's still brilliant.
We're calling him the new Van Dijk, mate.
Yeah. And again, like
you don't think he's worthy?
Give him time.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Do you know what I mean? Not yet. Like you got to give him time. He looks a brilliant talent.
Does he remind you of Van Dijk? Some people saying it's like a cross between Van Dijk and Rio.
They do have quite similar attributes, as in he's good on the ball, he's strong, he's tall, he's quick. So they've definitely got similar attributes. I mean, obviously, it's a story for another time, but I heard his contract ain't even that long, and Real Madrid and a couple of teams are sniffing around, so you lot better hope. Do you know what I mean? What's the 1 year at the end of this year left? Oh, you know what I mean? But no, he is a good player. I think it's going to be very difficult to get past him. I'd 100% be pulling on to Gabriel, who I don't actually think is that good. He's not rubbish, but he's your liability at the back. Do you know? Out of the two. For me, I think Ben White and Saliba are better defenders than Gabriel personally. So I would be like, get at Gabriel. Out of all of them, pick him. He's the one I would say to get at. He's got a penalty to give away in him and little things like that. And Martinelli, who I actually really, really like. I'm not just saying it because I'm here. People can check the tapes. I actually think Klopp adores him as well, so I'm looking forward to seeing him in the Liverpool shirt at some point.
Maybe when he's
I like the way you got that one in
after the game, you know.
So yeah, I really like Martinelli. I think, me personally, I think he's your best young player. A lot of people say Saka. I've always said Martinelli for the last 18 months. I think the Saka thing became a bit of an easier thing to look at because he was performing better at the time. But I think of the talents, I think Martinelli is a better talent.
Right.
So definitely we've got to watch out for Martinelli, and obviously he's on Trent's side, and if Trent is further up the field attacking and whatnot, and you know what I mean, Martinelli's got the pace, you ain't getting back in, you just ain't. Saka is a worry though. I'm not going to act like he's not a worry. Yeah, you got to worry about him. Tsimikas is a very good defender, so I don't think he's just going to get like run ragged, but obviously Saka's a good player, so we definitely have to pay attention to him. And I got to be honest,
so you're
man,
saying the main threat, Martinelli
and Jesus, those are the two, and Saliba obviously defensively. I say I like Jesus. I was angry when you lot got Jesus because I knew he would take you lot to a higher level than you were at. Fair play to Arteta for leaning on his brethren and getting a favour, because if it weren't Arteta in charge, he wouldn't have gone Arsenal. And I'm not throwing shade, I'm just being real. Neither with Zinchenko, but Arteta just got the plug and it's working out beautifully for you lot. So
mind you, if he knew he was getting Haaland, then he might have thought, you know what,
I still don't think he would have sold to a rival if it wasn't Arteta though. I think he would have made Jesus leave the league. Do you know what I mean? I think the only reason Sterling went Chelsea is because he's English and English players don't really like going abroad. But with Jesus, I think he would have waited for somebody abroad. I don't think he would have let, but he's like, Arteta, you're my boy. And you know, Arteta leaned on a favour. I would have if I knew somebody, you know what I mean? So it is what it is.
Interesting. Okay, right, now we're going to get down to the realness. Prediction time. And as we always say on this show, and I'm going to do the same thing with Drifty as well, don't just tell us the result, tell us why you think it will play out the way you're saying it will. So we're looking for a bit of an enhanced prediction. I'm going to start with Curtis. He's the man repping the home team. Curtis, prediction time and why?
I'm going to go for an Arsenal win.
Right.
I'm going to go for a 3-2 win.
3-2,
It's going to be a goal fit. Yeah, Super Sunday, I think. You know what I mean? In the afternoon, all eyes on it. We're at pretty much full strength, really. And I just think the confidence is so high. I think we'll get the better of them.
Okay. He said it.
3-2 win.
So you heard what he said, Drifty. He said 3-2, there's going to be goals. He said, you know, it's going to be competitive, but at the end of the day, the confidence is the key factor. And he feels that because of that, the fact that Arsenal at home, bit of momentum, he feels that will be your undoing. Now, I'm going to put that question to you. Give me what you feel will happen, but not just what you feel happen. Why?
As you rightly said, what's crazy is, and it sounds a bit entitled when I really deeper, but obviously we have high ambitions. We've actually only lost one league game in like 20-something, nearly 30 games, I think, even like going back to last season. So it seems really entitled to go, oh, we're so angry. It's like, you've only lost one game in God knows how many, but the draws kill you. Man City in the league means the draws are lost. And a lot of people will say they'll lean on a draw because we seem to just get a load of draws. Reluctantly though, you know me, like I have to keep it real. I'm not a fronter, do you know what I mean? Yeah, we're losing this game. We're not scoring enough goals to win this game, and we're not keeping enough goals out of our own net to win this game. And the one thing that Arsenal are good at is starting fast, and we start slow as hell. Like every game now, we're letting in the first goal. So as I said, if you want to make money this weekend and you're a betting man, put your money on Arsenal to open the scoring. 1,000%. Put your whole wage on it, and you will not be disappointed. Like you are going to score the first goal. I actually don't think we're going to score at all, unfortunately. Wow. Yeah, I think it's
Liverpool not score a goal.
I think it'll be 2-0. I think Arsenal's going to win this game 2-0.
2-0.
I think you're playing us at the right time. I think we're going to get bent over against City the following week as well, which is going to be very embarrassing. And then we've got to start our season after that. I'm just looking at.
So you're basically saying that this season's a bit of a write-off.
Oh, 100%. I've already accepted. We may win a cup. Champions League included, if we can pick up form and we can get out of the group and then pick up form, and then after the World Cup when the players start playing again because they're not thinking about the World Cup, then who knows, we can still win the Champions League. Our pedigree in Europe second to none.
So do you think, supplementary question, that given what you've said, that Klopp might already be thinking, although he would never say this publicly, do you think he's thinking, you know what, I'm going to prioritise other competitions and, you know?
Yeah, in terms of winning it,
1,000%.
But no, we can't not think about the league, because if we're going to fix it in the summer and if we are going to go again next year and be proper, we have to be in the Champions League. So we've still got to get top 4. So he cannot not want to win Premier League games. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think they can get top 4? Because given what you're saying there, man, you're making it seem a bit forlorn.
Yeah, do you know what? People might think I'm being crazy. Rivals will love it, but haters love hate, innit? Nah, I don't think we will. I don't think we'll get top 4.
I think you will get top 4. I think you will. I don't think there's 4 better teams than Liverpool in the Prem.
No, but there are at the moment, though, bro. And that's the worry.
I think you'll get out of it, though.
But will we catch up? Like, if
I mean, I look
we're
at
11
now,
points behind you, lot, right?
But you got a game in hand. So if you win that, that's 8.
It's Chelsea, though, that game in hand, by the way.
I think you can beat Chelsea.
But it's still Chelsea.
It's a tough game. It is. Listen, don't get me wrong. You've got to get your act together quickly.
Yeah.
But I don't think you're a million miles off. You had a lot of midfielders out. Salah hasn't really kicked into gear yet. Trent was a bit off. I think once it settles down a little bit.
I hope so. I mean, ask me again at the end of October, and then maybe again in January, because October's a massive month. We could be 20 points off the top at the end of October. We're 11 points off you lot now. You beat us, that's 14 points off the top. Then we lose to City. Then you lot will win your next game.
If you lost them 2 games,
you know what I mean? And I don't even think you lot can win the league. And I'm not being shady. You lot are doing brilliantly. City's won the league. It's done. It's done. You know what I'm saying?
Haaland factor.
Oh, bro, and plus they're the best team anyway. So you put Haaland on top. Like, it's done. Arsenal are putting up a good front right now. But a couple injuries to you lot, or the Europa League starts to tire you lot out, and that's going to fade away a bit naturally. Man City are going to steamroll this league. I don't think people understand.
Quickly, easy.
City, Arsenal.
Oh, so you think we'll finish second?
No. I just think you'll finish in the top 4. Yeah. Tottenham. Man United and Chelsea, I'm not sure which one of those, but it will be one of those.
But you think
Tottenham, Arsenal, City, and I'm not sure.
Surely you can't be looking at Man United and thinking they're better than Liverpool. I mean,
but don't look at that result they got against City and make that how you judge them. Ten Hag has got them playing better. They've got injured players coming back now. Casemiro's still not settled, and Ten Hag won 4 in a row up to then. So I think they'll grind results. They're not a brilliant team, they're not amazing and all that, but they will grind results. And if everybody, what I'm worried about is by the time we kick into gear, you lot will all be too far ahead of us. Everyone's ahead of us as it is already. I think it's 3 points Man U, 4 points Chelsea. Tottenham is about 7, you lot are 11. Like, everybody's already got a lead on us. So if you lot keep on getting points, by the time we pick up our form, there'll be too much of a gap, do you know what I mean? That's what I'm worried about anyway.
You know what I find ironic about that little discussion there was that Curtis was actually more confident about Liverpool than Drifty was.
I think you're always like that when your team is struggling. You lose faith sometimes in your own team. Because listen, you watch every game every week. I don't watch Liverpool every week unless they're on the TV. I might, but so you know what's going off a lot more. And like you said, you haven't been in this position for a long time. Klopp's brought a lot of stability. You've just gone up the hill the whole time since.
And I can feel the pain in Drifty's voice. I've known him a long time, and I've never seen him like this about Liverpool.
Listen, Drifty,
and it's from the heart.
Listen, I respect Drifty.
I respect him.
I gotta be honest, I don't feel that sorry for you. I've been in a way worse situation.
Yeah, that's true.
Drifty's turning around saying,
welcome to our world, bro.
Drifty's saying, they might only win a domestic trophy. And that, bro, we've had some real problems in the last few years.
I hear that.
Saw all or nothing.
I know it sounds
and it could
entitled.
be worse for you. You could be Tottenham fan right now.
Bro, they'll probably finish above us this season.
I can't see that.
It's mad. I know it sounds entitled and I know it sounds a bit sport. I know it does. But we're Liverpool, and in my opinion, we're the biggest club in England, and this is the level we're supposed to be at. We're not supposed to fall off like this, do you know what I mean? Like, our blip's supposed to be second. It's not supposed to be ninth. We're ninth.
I must admit, when I was doing the research for this show and I said, just come across that stat, ninth. Only 2 wins out of 7 games. I was like, mind you, you've drawn 4, you've only lost to 1.
Yeah, we've only lost 1.
It's interesting because we both lost to the same team. But I was still a bit surprised. And to hear you now be so honest and open and transparent, it's actually... But you know what? We get the best when people come on this show, man. We encourage them to speak their truth. You've done that, and I appreciate that. We're coming to the end of the show now. Just to recap, Curtis has gone for 3-2 goals, good game, but he thinks Arsenal come out on top. Drifty's also gone for Arsenal, and guess what? He don't even think Liverpool are going to score, which I find quite amazing. I'm going to go with an Arsenal win. I know it sounds kind of safe. I think Liverpool will score. I think we'll get a 2-1. And that's a very easy thing for me to say, but I kind of think that's how the game will play out. I don't think Liverpool will be as bad as they've been in previous weeks, given the fact that they've always done well at Arsenal. I think they will have a certain level of confidence going into that game. And I think we'll see a good game, but ultimately I think Arsenal win. But that's what I think. You've heard what the two guys think. We're coming to the end of the show. Drifty, thanks for coming in today, bro. Appreciate your comments. Tell the people where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, always a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure. Team Coppish on all platforms, whether that be Insta, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere. If you type Coppish in, then we'll come up. And join us for the watch along if you like enjoying Liverpool pain tonight at 8 o'clock.
And I'm going to leave last word with Curtis. Tell the people they can find you for the 138th time.
They know, man. Curtis,
they know where to find you.
I'm there every day, people.
Lots of good content there from both guys.
It's good vibes right now as well.
Absolutely. But listen, thanks guys for tuning in. I've really enjoyed the show. Thanks Drifty for coming in, bro.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks, man. Curtis, as always. Thank you guys for watching and supporting, and we'll see you next week. We're out.
Peace.